Hey friends, happy Friday evening. It is your friend in flowers, Lisa Mason Ziegler, popping in again here tonight to do a little chit-chatting about some flower farming. And how about that backdrop? Kind of beautiful, huh? I mean, that's for our hands-on workshop here tomorrow. And I'm so glad that you dropped in here this evening. And we're kind of talking tonight about, do you dare to dream big? And I was just going to take a little walk around and sit through the past and share some things. And hopefully, if you're the person that I'm talking to, I'm glad that you're here. You know, did you know that this year is the 10th year anniversary of my first book, Cool Flowers? And you know, I launched my flower farming career 27 years ago on, of course, we didn't call them Cool Flowers back then. We didn't have the name of that book yet, right? But I launched my flower farming career on Cool Flowers. And I 100% did that leaning on a mentor. And it wasn't someone I knew. It was a book that I read. That I read a little something about planting something in the fall. And I trusted who was writing that, who was sharing their experience, and I took the plunge. And, you know, I mean, truly, I was such a huge success growing Cool Season Hardy Annuals out of the gate back then is what I really attributed to me being willing to take the next step and the next step. And I also was fortunate again when I went to sell to my very first florist. I had really stalked them and really tried to find one that I thought would fit the model that had been described to me that was the best for a local sourcing flower farmer. And friends, I will tell you that I was well received, and beyond a shadow of a doubt, because I was well received, which then led me to have such great support, I just kept on going. And friends, I am here to say that that's kind of what I had in mind when I created Flower Farming School Online and all the resources and all the instructors and the whole ball of wax that has actually come from that. But the flagship courses, my course, Flower Farming School Online, the basics, annual crops, marketing, and more, as well as Dave Dowling's course, bulbs, perennials, woodies, and more. Sorry, y'all, I got stumped there. We put them together. This is called the Bundle Week. It's our #1 most popular offer we've ever put in because we feel like it's the real rock foundation to get people started, and then to let them see what they can do once they get up and running by expanding their crops, right? So why the bundle? It's because you're going to have an incredibly wide access to a lot of topics, a lot of practical tips. It's going to help you, friends, make informed decisions. And what does that mean? That means what should you grow? And then once you decide on that, which varieties, how much, and it just goes on for there. And all of this foundational information, which is all in the courses, just there ready for you to go in and consume it, means you don't have to figure it out. You just have to do the work. And let me just tell you, the work is hard, but it is incredibly rewarding, right? And having this path of not having to figure out who do you believe or which way do you go is really a view of long-term success for a flower farming business. And you know, so I want to just start by saying something that I believe is a really key piece for people, some of the people that don't make it. When I say don't make it, I mean they're the 80% that start and never get to the second or the third year, right? I feel like, and for me, is why do you want to be a flower farmer? You know, what's your why? Why do you want to do it? First off, I was an avid gardener. I was a developing gardener. I was basically, really, truthfully, a novice gardener. I had been dabbling in shade gardening, met my husband He was a big vegetable gardener, had a big old yard full of sunshine, which I didn't have. And I started helping him grow vegetables, and then flowers came into the picture. And I just loved doing it. I loved cutting them and taking them to my grandma. And I just saw how the whole system actually worked, meaning the more you cut them, the more they come. And I just absolutely loved it. And what happened for me one day, so you have to know that I loved the job that I had. I was the business manager of a fairly big animal hospital. 3 to 5 doctors, a support staff of over 20 people, and we were the popular people in town. There was always people on hold. There was always people in front of you waiting to be waited on, and the waiting room was packed. And I loved it that way. I will say that if you are a hustler, like working in that environment that I just described, you were meant to be a flower farmer, because that's kind of the same kind of deal. But anyway, I loved my job. I was heavily involved in the sport of dogs, golden retrievers, did dog shows, obedience, all that kind of stuff, right? Loved what I did and where I worked. But I started this flower growing, small garden, cutting flowers, taking them to my granny. And one day I was just pulling out of the driveway of my house, and I worked full time. I was pulling out of the driveway of my house, and my dog was staring at me through the window, and my garden literally was on the other side of the driveway, and I just didn't want to leave. I wanted to stay home and garden and not just play with my dogs, but be with my dogs and just live that, right? And friends, that's what I did. And I did it because I had access to resources that helped me do it. And I will say that was 27 years ago. We barely had the internet, but I did it anyway, right? So knowing your why, and I'll tell you some of the whys. So my big why, that was my number one why. I wanted to stay home. But I also wanted to continue to feather the nest of my family financially. And when you know your why you're doing something, that's what pulls you out of the ditch. So when you hit a problem, when you just repeatedly just aren't moving forward and you can't figure it out, what keeps you coming back and moving forward with momentum is, what is your goal? What is your why? Why am I doing this? And I'll tell you some of the reasons students have given that. I will tell you that we do have students for sure that have gone on to make flower farming their main breadwinning income for their family. You know, I look at people like Daniel Shavy of Petal Pickers, who was one of our original students. He has gone on to create a business that does, in fact, provide for their family in that way. But the majority of people, the majority of our students, are looking for a second income option. A lot of them are mamas that want to stay home with kids, and that's what they're looking to do. And some of the reasons that they've given as their why is that they too, like me, loved gardening. And then they started thinking about flower farming, and it really loved it. They really loved the thought. But some of the reasons that they gave that they really wanted to earn income was to provide for a nice family vacation every year. I mean, that is something that a lot of families, I mean, my family, when I was growing up, we went to see family in Florida. You know, we didn't really go on vacations, right? That's what Disney was the example that was actually given for this particular student. And then another one is their goal was to pay a $10,000 payment towards their mortgage every year in addition to their monthly payment, so that their home would be paid off. I mean, what a goal that is, right? And then another one they wanted to send their children to private school. That's another thing that would be a great, or like me, I just wanted to feather our retirement, which I'm heading straight into retirement now, y'all. I am so grateful that I have done that. But I believe that working towards a goal is what can really keep you momentum. Now, if you want more information on the bundle, because I'm going to yammer on here a little bit, you can comment bundle here in the comments, and it'll DM you, because the bundle offer ends tonight at midnight. Today is May 17th of 2024 if you're watching the replay, and the special goes off at midnight Eastern time tonight. So let me just tell you a little bit about Flower Farming School, especially if you're not familiar with online courses. Super easy and very watch it at your own pace. So what happens is you purchase the course just like you purchase a book. But instead of picking up the book to read it, you log into your online library. As long as we have internet, you have access to your course. It is unlimited. That means you can watch them as many times as you want. My course, The Basics, which is really about setting up your business. I mean, that's the first class. There's 6 classes in each one of our big courses. And each class is made up of a bunch of sessions. And so the first class in my course is all about getting the business started, because I will tell you that's one of the biggest boulders that's on people's shoulders. They aren't sure what to do. They don't know about sales tax. They don't know what do you need and how do you do that. And how do you make time in your day to actually start a business, right? So that's class 1. And I'll be real honest with you. I am a heavy believer in eat the ugly frog first. And taking care of that business stuff and getting it out of the way so you can get down to the business of growing flowers, right? So that's class 1 on mine. Class 2 on mine is building and maintaining a working cutting garden. And friends, if you're an avid gardener, I cannot tell you how big a surprise this was to me and to the students. How different it is from actually, it's not just growing a big garden and growing a bunch of flowers. It is very, very different, and that's class 2. Class 3 is what are you going to grow? We grow, and this course, my course, is about growing annuals. The lowest investment with the highest potential return while you're learning how to become a flower farmer, getting customers, learning how to cut and harvest flowers and condition them and package them and so forth and so on. I never really went far past that annual part because I am a small space farmer. I'm in the middle of the city and I don't have much space. And that means I need to get the biggest bang for my buck from the square feet that I have. And that's what annuals do. So go through all of that. Then we have selling what you grow. And that's about being a professional. What kind of customers can you expect? How do you go about all of that? And then it's harvesting and conditioning, the steps and how to package and so forth and so on. And then the 6th class, or actually I think it's class number 5, is starting seeds commercially. And it's that whole package, and it's so different than what we think it is from actually gardening, right? So that's my course. And my course actually has 54 video sessions, 34 bonus sessions, and 40 handouts. Now, Dave Dowling's course, if you're not familiar with Dave was a flower farmer for 20 years. He went on to become a cut flower specialist representative, first for Edney Bulb and then for Fred Glockner and now for Ball Hort. He is the person that takes care of flower farmers all over this country with buying plugs and seeds, and he talks to flower farmers all day long every day and helps them. So his expertise, he's known in the industry as the walking encyclopedia. He is absolutely amazing. Dave was the president of the Association of Specialty Cut Flowers a couple of times, a board member, and we've been fast friends. We pretty much started flower farming about the same time. I started in 98. I think he started in 96. Anyway, Dave is incredible, and his course is right in his lane. It is bulbs, perennials, woodies, and more. So his course includes 86 sessions. It's covering 70 different flowers. There's 2 classes on bulbs. I mean, we're talking tulips, ranunculus, anemones, daffodils, all the things that grow from a bulb, right? There's actually 2 classes worth. Then there's 2 classes of perennials. I mean, peonies and just all baptismia. There's just so many. And I do also want to say, if you go to thegardenersworkshop.com, you can go to our individual course pages and you can see the syllabus. That's the outline. It's like the table of contents to the course, and see all the flowers that he teaches about. Then he has a whole class on woodies. Woodies are shrubs, y'all. Hydrangeas, lilacs, viburnums, those types of things, which varieties to grow, how to cut them, the whole 9 yards. And then there's 25 printable handouts. It is a wealth of information and resources that you can revisit over and over and over again as your business develops. Because I will tell you, what you're facing today is not what you're going to be facing 6 months from now. And when you go through the course today, you'll hear that, but it will not sink in until you need it. And that's one of the most valuable pieces of these online courses, if you have lifetime unlimited access. And I know that many students go back in over the down season and rewatch courses. You hear the things that you never heard the first time around, and it just kind of snowballs. It gets you off to a solid start on your flower farm, y'all. And remember that this would be, if you truly start a business, this is actually a tax deductible expense, right? And the cost of these courses, so let me tell you what that is. So you can purchase either mine or Dave's course anytime individually. They're $695 each. And the cost of those courses, while I know that's a lot of money, that is a BB in the Astrodome compared to how much money they're going to save. These courses are going to save you in not making mistakes, not buying the wrong varieties, not going down the wrong rabbit hole, right? But if you apply even a fraction of the practicality tips that are in these courses, you are going to tenfold your money, y'all. I mean that wholeheartedly. We hear it from people all the time. If you apply the strategies and the savings that you are going to reap from having access to what you need, it'll change your business life. Now you can comment bundle here and we will DM you the direct link to the bundle, and it ends tonight at 12 midnight. But I actually I'm gonna go to the bundle page myself here, and I want to just read you some of what students are saying about the courses, okay? And there are so many more over there. Y'all can go over there and read student success stories and reviews. We have thousands of students and friends. We would love for you to walk. We'd love to walk in this journey with you. We'll have your back. So before I read these students, what I want to say is, in addition to having information that you can trust, in addition to the courses, there are tons, and in my course there's thousands of frequently asked questions that are keyword searchable in my course, okay? That means that you can go in and type a keyword or whatever it is you're looking for, and it brings up everywhere you can find it in the course. And the way that I recommend that students digest these courses is to set aside a few hours each week. Friends, if you don't have a few hours to work on your business instead of working in your business, you're never going to move forward. You have to, that's part of being the boss. You have to make time. And I would be willing to say most of us have something we could give up 2 to 4 hours a week to actually take these courses. What I recommend is that you watch the sessions. You can watch them in double speed, y'all. You can still totally understand them, but you can listen to them twice as fast. I recommend that you listen to the frequently asked question sessions as podcasts. So you can do it while you're driving down the road, while you're cutting flowers, while you're doing so many other things. But the little golden gem at the end of all of this is the private community. And those are in Facebook groups. And you don't have to have a personal Facebook page to access these groups. You only need a business page. And friends, anybody that is selling flowers, particularly if you're selling retail, you need to have a Facebook page. You don't have to take in all the things that maybe that you aren't interested in, but you can go in right to these private pages. Those communities full of people that are on the same journey that you are, the support that you get there is priceless. You can ask students in there. Plus, your instructors swim in and out of there. So what I want to say is, when you have a question, you always go to your course content first. Search engine it. Keyword search it if you can't, if you're not able just to go straight to it, right? And then if you still haven't gotten it, you can't find the answer, then that's when you go to the community and you ask that question. You can tag your instructor, but we actually have a team member that swims those groups looking for those types of questions, and they tap your instructor so they're sure to know that there's a question in there. What I'm saying to you, friends, you will not leave with your question unanswered. And so that is a really big, that's kind of what is a standout about us, is the depth of the information and the resources we provide, but we also provide lifetime support. Do you understand that? That means you're in that Facebook group, not for 6 weeks, not for 8 weeks, but from now on, you can always come back and tap your community and your instructor, and it's really big. So I'm just going to read some phrases from what some of the students are saying, and you can find these right over on the bundle page. Lisa and Dave share their wealth of experience in an easy-to-learn format available to fit your schedule. I strongly recommend their classes to all my friends. Elizabeth wrote that. And what she means to fit your schedule, you can watch it at your pace. But friends, I don't know about you. If I don't set aside time, I just never get to things. I loved Lisa's flower farming course. I learned so much valuable information about starting up the business, how to plant, harvest, and condition. Lisa and Dave's course, well worth the money. Let's see. Here's one. There was one I wanted. Oh, thanks, Dave and Lisa, for helping us all become better flower farmers. Lisa's course lays the foundation for flower farming, and then Dave's course makes it explode with knowledge. I learned so much. That's Kim. What a great team these guys make. Highly recommend the classes. Lisa's class will give you the confidence to do what you've always dreamed of. And I just want to stop right there. And friends, you know, we are our biggest enemy, right? I mean, we're the ones that hold ourselves back. We just think we aren't qualified. And, you know, I mean, I've told my story so many times. If there was somebody that shouldn't have been able to become a flower farmer, it was me. I live in the city. I was barely a gardener. I don't have a lot of acreage. I didn't have a I still don't have any greenhouses. And I didn't have a tractor for the first 10 years of my business. So you have to just finally decide one day to get over yourself and go for that big dream. And I want to say that we would love to walk with you. We'll have your back. Your community will have your back. It's just, you can definitely do it. You can, if you've got the ambition, we've got the resources that you need to actually go for it. I am so grateful to Lisa for creating this platform and executing it so well. Well, thank you, Kay. Coupled with the Field and Garden podcast and her reference book, I feel confident going into my second season of flower farming. I'm set up for success and excited to get growing again. I also took Dave's course and love the thought of adding extra season extenders to my lineup here in 6B. So friends, here's a great example of some of the things you'll learn in flower farming school. So I mentioned that my class is all about getting your business set up, learn how to sell, learn what to grow, learn how to condition and package and get customers and to sell to them and feel really confident. Then you have Dave's class that is packed full of all of these additional crops that you're going to be able to layer on top of what you're already growing. Because let me tell you how Dave's class was born. So I launched Flower Farming School Online with my very first class in 2018. Had hundreds of students. So at about 8 weeks after the class ended, back then it was more like a boot camp, and it dripped out. It was like an intensive 6 weeks, and as business got busy, people just weren't able to do that. So we kind of molded Flower Farming School to fit into people's schedule a little bit more. Anyway, several of those students were messaging us like, oh my gosh, we're doing this. We're selling flowers. Holy cow, we want to grow more stuff so we can sell more crops to the customers that we already have. Because y'all, that is the best business model ever. Once you get a customer, to be able to offer them more product or more flowers is far less expensive, most cost effective for you and your business to sell more. And so that's why we put my course and Dave's course together. Because my course will get you out and get your kind of training wheels on and get you up and going. And I will say, it's not just for beginners. We have lots of flower farmers that come into the basics that are in their third, their fourth, and even their fifth year, but they just can't get it all pulled together. And I totally understand that. You know, y'all, I mean, I was in business probably for 15 years when I started all this other stuff that I do. And I was on the verge of like being bald from pulling my hair out because I couldn't figure it out and do it and do a good job, right? I ended up hiring a business coach that a mentor had recommended to me and literally just helped me focus. That's what these courses do. You've got it in you. I know you do because I do. But sometimes we just need help finding the path and then staying on the path. Stay out of other people's lanes, y'all. When you put your head down and do the work. I talked last night about flower farming. Are there too many flower farmers? Let's see, it was last night. Right here on IG, you can go back and watch it. And you know, when I was researching for that, you know what I heard? Or I read, and it was put out by Utah State University. Are you ready for this? I mean, facts are just what you should be making decisions on, y'all, not social media. Americans purchase every single day 10 million stems of flowers, which actually tallies up to about $6.5 billion of flowers a year. That's in the United States alone. And this was reported by Utah State University and the American Floral Society. I mean, very professional truth seekers. 10 million stems a day. We don't have to convince people to buy flowers, y'all. They're already buying them. We just have to help them find us. And I'm not going down that rabbit hole because I've already covered that. But flower farming is a reality. And if that's what you want to do, we're here to help you. Let's just get down to the brass tacks here, y'all. So I'm going to go back. You can go over and read student success stories. You can read reviews. I'm just here to say, if you want to do it, we are happy to do it with you. And if you're still on the fence, are you sitting there hoping and patiently waiting for your dream to come true? It does not happen that way, y'all. I just posted a reel, basically, that had that text on there. In addition to all of a sudden, I'm in the room. There is stock back there. There's a ton of sweet peas, and they're all stinky. I mean, they're fragrant, I should say. But putting them all together and the air conditioner's blowing behind it, they're kind of taking me over here. There is nobody that shouldn't be doing what they're doing than me. Not only am I city girl, no greenhouse, no hoop house, I've written 3 books and I am a severe dyslexic. How did that happen? I came along somebody. I got a mentor, I got a teacher. Somebody that all they had to do was give me guidance and put their hand on my back, and I was able to move forward. And that's what we're offering to you, honestly. So here's today's the day to make the move, right? Hop off the fence and start your flower farming business. Take the first step. And here's the other part of all this. Friends, you don't have to worry. We have a 7-day money back, no questions answered policy. You can purchase the courses. If you go in and it's not what you thought, or it's not what you want, all you have to do is ask for your money back. We know you're going to love them, though. It is the information and the resources you need to get you up and running. But this bundle offer does end tonight at 12 midnight Eastern time. And that is today, May 17th, 2024. And I just would love for you to come along beside us and join in with all the others. If you have any questions about whether there's room in the cut flower industry for flower farmers, all I'm going to say is, you can go back and listen to my live from last night here on IG. And I will tell you that of that $6.5 billion with a B, y'all, that are sold in the United States alone every year, this is cut flowers, y'all. This is not the horticulture plant industry. 80% of those flowers are imported from distant lands. There is no ceiling. If you have heavy competition where you are, you just have to find another way to sell. And there are many ways to sell. It's incredible the ways we hear our students selling flowers. Look at Daniel Shavy. During the pandemic, Daniel was in the upswing of building his amazing, you got to follow Petal Pickers, by the way, building this amazing, putting up houses, expanding his garden. Then the pandemic happened. And guess what? There was no flowers moving. He started shipping flowers all over the United States because he figured it out and did it. And he's still doing it to today. And that's what I'm talking about, friends. When you get a strong foundation to stand on, some depth of knowledge, what we see in the industry today, I hear this from every one of my peer friends, people that are have cut flower farms up and running, is that there's a lot of people out there selling flowers. They don't even know what proper stage to harvest is, and they're selling flowers. That is not a good thing, y'all. That is not a professional, and it's hurting the whole industry. They're underpricing. Having some knowledge of basics before you start peddling flowers is the key to your future. And that's what we want to help you do. We spill all the beans. There is enough for everybody. You can talk to Dave Dowling sold in the Washington, D.C. DuPont Circle, where there's multiple flower farmers. I mean, he lived in the land of where there were bunches of flower farmers. It's not what you think. You're not basing your decisions on facts. And that's a problem, So I recommend that you check out the IG from last night if you question, are there too many flower farmers? But friends, I'm urging you to take advantage of the offer that ends tonight. Both of our courses individually are $695. We have put them together for a savings of $240. And they are $1,150. Lifetime unlimited access to both of our big schools that will start and grow your business. You just have to do the work. We guide you, and with our content just gives you what you actually need. So friends, I just hope you'll join with us. I am going to go, if anybody has Harris Flower Farm, my friend Janice. Oh, Janice, I'm so not glad you're on here. I feel like there are too many not serious flower farmers. Janice is a very seasoned Canadian flower farmer who she and I served on the board together. And Janice, you're exactly right. You want to know what I call those people? Dabblers. And I'm here, there is something wrong with dabblers. I'm over filtering anymore. Dabblers show up at the farmer's market. They underprice everybody else because, they're just doing it on the side. I didn't have a dabbler. I had a guy that I was in competition with for several years at the farmer's market who really was a retired fella and had a very fat retirement. And he would tell people, I just don't even need to make money. I'm telling you, he'd sell bouquets for $3. They were little and they were not very well conditioned and they were old flowers, but people bought them because they were cheap. And it was really a problem. But I finally, my wave overcame him. But Janice, you're exactly right. People that just think, well, I don't have to earn a living, but you don't understand what you're doing to the people that are trying to run a business. We talk about that a lot in Flower Farming School of coming in at market prices. It just sets you up for success because you may be able to do that today, but as your business grows and you incur more and more expenses, not to mention you start hiring people and you pay them an honest wage that, they're not making pennies on the dollar in another country. Anyway, don't even get me started on all this. And Janice, I am so happy. You'll have to check a Harris Flower Farm. Janice is a farmer florist. She does events and grows amazing flowers, and I miss her so much. We used to meet several times a year by being on the board together. And she's another great flower farmer to follow. She was an optician and quit her job to sell flowers after she had been doing it for several years. And so there's just so many success stories, y'all. But you can't find your way alone. Join in the ASCFG, which is the Association of Specialty Cut Flower Growers. Networking, get educated, read books, read magazine. No one thing is going to take you to the top. You have to do them all. And that's what those of us that are doing it, how we did it. And we just love helping and guide people along the way. And anyway, so friends, the offer ends tonight. You get me and Dave. Both of our courses, they're not even courses, they're schools, y'all. You won't believe how deep and wide they are. But I'm just going to circle back and say one more time how you have to actually get in the courses and consume them to make a difference in your business. And that's where people are challenged. I'd be willing to say that most of us, and I'm guilty of this, scroll for 4 hours or more a week. Why not say for 90 days, I'm going to commit to work on my business and not in my business. I'm not going to be out there either scrolling or I'm not going to be sowing seeds and cutting flowers. You need to work your schedule out so that you have 4 hours, whether it's an hour a day, 30 minutes a day, whatever. You're the boss. You're the adult in the relationship with your business. The buck stops with you. And if you don't get it right from the beginning or hit the reset button, you'll just keep doing the same stuff over and over. And the dabblers, those people that are just jumping in and out of the markets, really do hurt the market. But if you put your head down and do the work and produce quality of what you need to sell, it will wash out in the end. I mean, I lived through that. I cannot even go on talking about this. I mean, there's just so many times where you think, how in the world am I ever going to overcome this? But if you just stay in your lane and do the work, it most often works out. If not, another opportunity presents itself. So friends, if being in business was easy, everybody would be doing it. And I've been live every night this week. You can find me on YouTube a couple times and here on IG talking about different subjects. And if you have questions, please shoot us a DM. I'll keep my eyeballs on the DM. If you have any questions, it's just hard to... If you have a question, you can post it in the bubble down below with the question mark on it. That way I don't miss your question. But we love it. Our students, oftentimes when I go live, if you see people putting the sunflower emoji in, that means that there are some of our student family. And friends, there's just no better family to be a part of other like-minded people that have a little rubber in the game, just like you will, by buying the courses. And all of us looking to the same thing, to grow and sell cut flowers as professionals and to take our bite of that 80% of $6.5 billion a year that are being imported from distant lands. And it's all about setting up so it's easy for your customers to purchase and how you reach them. And I'm a true believer in that. So during my career, I grew up as a flower farmer. We actively sold for 25 years. I sold to 23 florists, 2 supermarket chains, 2 farmers markets for 14 years during that time. I developed an on-farm, private, members-only flower market, so I made myself legal with my city, as well as a big bouquet subscription drop-off service. And I had to have a lot of outlets because I grew 10 to 15 stems of flowers a week from my little city farm. How do I know that? Because we invoiced people, y'all. I mean, it was just a matter of running a report. So it is possible. If I can do it, you can do it, and I'd love to walk with you. All right, friends, till we meet again. Ciao.